Alright guys, welcome to the third week of this road to a 300 kilogram total. I had to start the training week this week on Tuesday because there was so much work that I wasn't able to do because of the move last week, that I basically had to work the entire Monday to get back on schedule. I decided to push these snatch triples a little bit heavier than usual and loaded 112 where I immediately failed the first rep, so I decided to cancel it and try it one more time. And yeah, I was just barely able to do it. I also tried 110 after that, but these longer snatch triple sets are also just very difficult to concentrate for this long, so unfortunately I missed, and then I went down to 105, which I also almost missed. Looking at the footage now, I really have to go to the barber. And in the next exercise, the complex with 1 clean plus 2 jerk, I really felt the lack of regeneration from last week because of all the manual labor with the move and the training on top of that. And the 140 were already very heavy. So the original plan was to also hit 145, but then I decided to just do 140 for 2 singles, so still better than last week, but yeah, I would have liked to do 145. Even if it would have been possible, it would have probably been unnecessarily grindy. Yeah, then again the top set in the front squat with plus 5 kilograms from last week, and I was excited if this would even be possible this week, but I find it very interesting that when you are deep in a Olympic weightlifting training block, like this whole training really affects the Olympic lifts in my experience, but these absolute strength lifts like the squat are not that affected oftentimes from the general fatigue. I feel like I'm often able to, although I feel very shitty, to push through these sets and move like very good weights for me. And that was here again the case. And I was able to do the 165, and then I did 3 back-off sets with 150. And yeah, because I had to start the training week on Tuesday and I also knew that I couldn't train on Sunday, I knew I had to do all 5 training days back to back, which I already knew wasn't going to be ideal, but that's just when you have other things in your life than just Olympic weightlifting is what it is. Yeah, the upper body day I started with chin-ups, and the top set in the overhead press with 95 kilograms was weirdly easy. I even thought for a second if I should just do a triple, but I decided against it and do the 4 sets of 5 in the back off sets, 2 sets with 85, and then I realized it's getting very heavy. Then I did the other 2 sets with 80. But yeah, the overhead press is also getting better and better. And then some cable rows, and after that horse bench press with 100 kilograms, where I hit 7 reps in the first set, which really surprised me, especially because I already did 4 sets in the overhead press. So yeah, I was very happy about that. On Thursday I came to the CrossFit gym and they were doing this Murph workout, and it was very, very full. I first had to see where I could even get a place to train. And then I did my usual complex for this day with the 2 snatches and 2 overhead squats. This time I did all the sets with 105 and they were feeling okay, I would say. Of course, now in week 3, with all the things that happened in the last couple of weeks, yeah, of course, I'm now very tired in the body, and for that I would say they moved good, but it was also not a super great day. Then I did a little ramp up in the jerk. I started with 140 and my lockout was a bit soft this day, and sometimes I was just not concentrated enough, but I was still able to triple 150, which ties my PR. And then the raw pause back squats, which I step by step over the weeks fill with 150 instead of 145. So it was 3 of the sets with 150 and the first one with 145. I recently saw a video about the Sony VX1000, a camera that was used to film the golden age of skateboarding. And just so you guys understand, there are different mediums to do motion picture stuff. So the OG way, of course, is analog film that is still being used by great directors like Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino. And of course, mostly today, digital cameras are used that are filming with a sensor. But there was something in between, especially for smaller productions, documentaries, TV, and amateur things, and that was to film on tape. And the skaters in this video talked about how iconic the picture of this old medium and especially of this camera was, and also how it captured audio and how unique it sounded.
If you look back at skateboarding videos, the real golden era is the VX1000 with the Century fisheye. It just felt like you were in there more, you were in the action, it felt impactful.
The thing that I really like about the VX still is the way that skateboarding sounded in it.
It was crisp, it was loud. The tricks, like you could really hear the snap and the pop.
And I'm watching this and I think, wait, it's the same for us in weightlifting. Like all the great training hall footage from Iron Mind and other people from the past who captured it on tape, the way the weights sound, the way it just looks and feels, are so iconic to our sport, and it really clicked to me. So anyway, I bought a mini DV camera that I want to try to film my Friday session, and yeah, hopefully it has the soul of these old weightlifting clips, and yeah, let's just see how this will turn out. I hope everything works out. And yeah, I see you in the training. So welcome to 1998 and the Friday training. And as I said, all the trainings had no rest days. So usually, of course, I train on Wednesday, have Thursday off, and then for the Friday, I feel a bit fresher. So I already knew what was probably going to happen, especially also because of the 4 squat sets the day prior. And for these clips, the old camera didn't record audio, but here with the 115 that I just kept on failing, I really have to say I was a bit pissed and also a bit sad, because like last week with the moving day on Friday and Thursday, where already the Friday training wasn't that good, and now the second week in a row, yeah, I was just a bit pissed. But I then made it happen and just wanted to just load 121 for a 1 kilogram PR in this complex. And this one was just so incredibly heavy, it completely folded me in the first rep, and I also don't know how I then made the hang snatch this confident. So yeah, again a bit of a press out, but I was still stoked that I was able to do it. Yeah, the cleans, we don't have to talk about this. I was just so done already. Not only was it incredibly heavy, but my elbows were so slow. So I did most of the sets with 135. But yeah, comment how you think the footage looks of this old camera. I think it's very cool. And I also thought, hey, maybe one day, if the Europeans or some big competition would be like not that far away, like Georgia, it would be very cool to get a accreditation and go through the training hall and film, for example, Iron Mine style with a old mini DV camera on tape, like the last heavy day of Carlos Nazar, and upload it. But these are just some thoughts. I think yeah, somehow this medium of recording on tape really, I don't know, has like so much soul of these older clips that we all love so much. And yeah, maybe I will use it here and there for some clips. So the warm-up for the back squat felt horrible. My last warm-up was 175, but I still decided to just load 190 and just give it a go. If I fail it for a single, so be it. And if I do it for a triple, great. And to my surprise, I actually really hit it for a set of 3.
Nice, very nice.
And then the 3 back offsets were very, very heavy. But at least I also got it done, and that was it for the Friday session.
Also wenn ich jetzt in die Vergangenheit reisen könnte und es schaffe,
So in the background of these sets, you can hear a funny but also heated argument where we in the gym argued about time travel. And maybe you guys can say what you think. Okay, I try to explain it. It's a bit difficult in English, but here's the thing. So my friend is Polish, and he was only born because his parents met because of the Second World War. Meaning if he would have a time machine and would go back in time to stop the Second World War from happening, he wouldn't be born. And I said, even if you had a time machine and you were eager to go back in time and do that, you wouldn't be able to. Something would stop you. I don't know what, but you wouldn't be able to do it because you would have never been born to do that. And if you were able to do that, we wouldn't have had a Second World War that you could stop. And he said he could go back in time, stop the Second World War, and he would just fade into no existence because in this timeline he then created, he would have never been born. So yeah, that was the discussion. And you guys can comment what you think. I hope I explained it well enough. Yeah, and on Saturday I felt completely numb. I just kept my head down and just worked my way through the program. Hey guys, it's quickly me from the editing. I just realized how much I talk about how fatigued I was. So sorry about that. It's actually a bit funny because like in the week when the training isn't working out so well, like right now I think, oh man, you started this YouTube series and now you have so many bad days. And then again I realize, wait, this is all storytelling, it's all okay. And this is just probably also the life that you guys know. I'm not a professional weightlifter, but yeah, this time I maybe said too much how fatigued I am, how bad I feel and so on. Let's just hope next week will be better. It's also the last week before I have a deload, so I usually do like four weeks on, 1 week off, like not completely off, but it's like a deload / transition phase to the next kind of training. And yeah, I'm just going to try to get my recovery right, sleep a lot, eat a lot, and then next week will hopefully be better. And because I didn't also want to do the overhead press standing because I was so tired, I did an exercise that I probably did the last time in maybe 2015 when I watched like fitness YouTube content, behind the neck press on a Smith machine. And yeah, my shoulders were burning a lot and it was definitely more chill than the overhead press. So that was it for this week's training, and we will probably see us next Sunday.